Hey YouTube, this is Itchy. This is part 2 of how to recognize high radiation in your area from clues in nature and how to minimize radiation in your everyday life. We were talking about rays in the sky and mushroom growth. Mushrooms are very proliferative in high radiation areas for uptake of cesium, especially ones that are dark brown or black in color. For that reason, mushrooms right now aren't really considered to be safe to eat either. Absence of earthworms during and after rain. In fact, I haven't really seen earthworms out on the pavement here all summer. Mutations of mushrooms. And the pine trees. Now the pine trees is what really tipped me off. 3 or 4 weeks ago, I had called Arnie Gunderson and asked him because it's so pervasive in my area, and in light of the dead animals and the other things, I wanted to know if this could be a sign of the radiation being here. And he directed me to a study that was done on deforestation around Chernobyl following the Chernobyl disaster. It was called the Red Forest Syndrome. And if you see this happening in pine trees in your area, it starts at the outermost branches and works its way in. The easy way to fix that is by using a potassium-based fertilizer, or you make your own with banana peels in a container. I have some fermenting in my kitchen right now. This was a pine tree that the baby squirrel lived in, the one that I found dead. And up until today I hadn't noticed it in the spruces, but I went around just in my area, in my subdivision, and I'm noticing this now in the spruces also. It was more noticeable in the evergreens and conifers prior to that. And here's a picture of Chernobyl. This is right around the reactor, and it was this picture I believe is from 1986. Spiderworts are a plant that you can easily get from a nursery. They grow indoors or outdoors. In fact, in Michigan, they grow outside. They're perennials. They come back every year. They were prized by Native Americans because of a purple dye that they secrete. In fact, if you touch the petals, you'll get dye all over your hand. They used it to dye their clothes and their moccasins. But in areas where the radiation is high, the flowers turn pink. It's nature's Geiger counter. Now, because of bioaccumulation and biomagnification, we're restricting our meat intake pretty severely, especially beef. A good source of protein would be tofu or beans. You want to work as many anti-cancer or potassium, high potassium foods into your diet. Pomegranates are a good source, apples and oranges and pineapples. Seaweed contains chlorophyll, which is known as a very strong anti-cancer food. In fact, people who lived around Hiroshima that ate miso soup every day, which is a soybean-based soup base, and seaweed and green onions had a very low incidence of cancer. Milk products I don't consider safe anymore either, except for powdered milk, because the powdered milk process removes cesium. We used to drink a gallon of milk a day between the three of us. We now only buy a gallon of milk a week and use it just for cereal. So good alternatives: coconut milk, rice milk, soy milk, almond milk, and different brands have different tastes. You have to kind of experiment. I usually try to buy whatever's on sale. I haven't tried the chocolate one yet. Seafood and sushi at this point really isn't safe to eat because of the diseased and mutated fish that are showing up in the ocean and the extremely high radiation levels that are also being measured. If you can cook from scratch, that's really your healthiest option at this point. Spices such as turmeric, and a little bottle like this is $7, and I'm putting it in pretty much everything. It's very strong anti-cancer properties. Cayenne pepper is a good one. Ground cumin is a good one that's used a lot in Mexican food. Nuts are a good source of potassium, but they also uptake cesium, so you might want to limit the nuts. Beans are good, make lots of chili and other sources of protein. Again, eating from scratch is really the healthiest instead of processed cereals. Powdered milk. Garlic, and this garlic is in an olive oil. You can just mix it into your spaghetti. I use a lot of garlic, but we're Italian, so that's why too. A few people have emailed me about sea salt. Sea salt usually doesn't contain iodine unless it says on the label. And in fact, Morton salt is the same. Not all of it contains iodine. It needs to say iodized. Dark chocolate is also a good source of potassium. Red wine is good for antioxidants. Definitely limit the dairy. And you've probably seen these machines in your grocery store. I never see anyone using them. But if you look at the tag on the machine, it filters water through activated carbon, through several other smaller micron filters, and through a processing called reverse osmosis. This is what people in Japan are using. You can actually buy these machines. They're about $200. It fits under your sink like a little hot water tank, or you can get a countertop version. It's the best way to get radiation out of your water. I'm not sure if distillation works. I've read pros and cons about distillation, and boiling water does not work. This is really important if you are pregnant or you have little kids, or if you're mixing baby formula. And this water is cheap. It's 89 cents a gallon if you bring your own carton, and it's 39 cents a gallon. I'm sorry, 39 if you bring your own, 89 if you use theirs. And there's a little story about how the machine works. Again, limiting dairy, cheeses. Stop eating junk. It's more difficult for your cells to repair themselves, and your body has an amazing ability to repair itself, but not if you're eating junk food. I would strongly recommend to limit your intake of fast food if you can too. I know it's convenient, but it's really bad for you. Organic does not mean that it's radiation free. Organic is termed because of the lack of fertilizers that are used on it. It's a little more expensive, and I recommend that you wash all of your fruits and vegetables in a baking soda mixture prior to eating them, or peel them. Potatoes, especially sweet potatoes, are healthy, but they've grown in the ground too, so you know, you got to be careful with that. If they look normal size, I wouldn't worry about it as much. Garlic, very strong anti-cancer properties. Avocados are high in potassium. Tomatoes, citrus. Apple cider vinegar is known to also help flush radioactive particles that you may have ingested that have settled into your stomach lining, your gastrointestinal tract, your colon. It helps eliminate those from your body, as well as baking soda, bentonite, clay, and activated carbon. All of those are safe for ingestion. The bentonite clay you can get in a health food store or a vitamin store, the edible kind. All it is basically the same ingredient in kitty litter. But if you read right on the box, it tells you how to use baking soda for stomach upset. You should, at the very least, be using either a Brita pitcher or a water pick system on your faucet. It's also very important, and I'm certainly guilty of this, that you replace these cartridges on a regular basis, because once the activated carbon binds to radioactive particles, it's no longer effective. And you can buy activated carbon. You can buy it in bulk at most aquarium shops, and you can replace the carbon in these things yourself. You just drill out the top, because they are a little bit expensive. I think these were $9.99. Supplements, this is what's being recommended by researchers. Helps reduce strontium uptake in bones, which has been found in the U.S. Helps prevent cesium uptake in heart muscle. And of course, check with your doctor and your children's doctor before you start any supplement therapy. You can buy calcium by itself, you can buy it in bulk. Melatonin also has strong anti-cancer properties. And I need to talk to you for a moment about pets. And I love animals. I have a few of my own. However, if they're tearing branches off trees and rolling around in the dirt outside, or if they're out in the rain, they're bringing particles into your house, so they need to be decontaminated. And the way you do that is with a lint roller. And just go over the animal when they come in from outside, and bathe them frequently. Whatever shampoo that you use, mix baking powder in with it. You can even sprinkle baking powder on the animal before you wash him, and again, it will help bind to those particles and rinse them away. Cats, look at their hair, they're staticky, they pick up dust, and hot particles attach themselves to dust. That's how they float through the air. Now, I think I've got a couple other pictures on here. Let me see. And I'm sorry I did not get this video out as quickly as I wanted to, but I have been sick for the last couple weeks. Lint roller, I just keep it by your door. Buy baking powder in bulk. You can get a 50-pound box of it at Costco for about $30. It's important too that when you brush your teeth, your kids brush their teeth, that you use filtered water and not tap water. And if you see any vegetables like this at the market, this is a mutation, and berries and vegetables tend to get bigger, so don't eat anything that looks like this, for God's sake. And again, this is my page on Facebook. Please check it out. Send it around to your family and friends. I post articles on here every day about what's going on in Fukushima. I post tips on how to reduce radiation in your environment, and any videos that I upload to YouTube I put on here too. So keep your eye on the weather. Avoid going out in the rain. Keep your kids' faces covered with scarves when they do go outside. Make sure that they leave their outerwear at the front door or outside in the garage, even better. And share this with everybody that you know. Try to talk to your kids at school, maybe get them to do a report on this. I have tried to speak with teachers in the area, but they cannot do anything in terms of keeping the kids from going outside for recess and so forth unless they have government recommendations. So the more people that you can talk to and tell them what's going on, hopefully the faster that this will happen, just to increase awareness. Keep your eye on the EPA graphs, and I will post any abnormal readings that I see today later on tonight. So take care, be safe, and talk to you soon.